and welcome to another Bearded Geek toy review. In today's video we're looking at this Star Wars The Black Series Shadows of the Empire Dash Rendar figure, which is from the famous multimedia project from the 90s, which we looked at in more detail when we reviewed the first figure in this wave, which was this guy here, Prince Xizor, who was the main villain of the whole concept. Which, if you obviously have watched that video, or if you remember it back in the 90s, it consisted of this book, which was a novelization, a soundtrack CD, a range of figures from Kenner, or Hasbro, as they Hasbro had just recently taken over Kenner in the 3.75-inch range, and a comic book series, but most famously, it was a Nintendo 64 console game, which I played endlessly. So if you want to find out more about Shadows of the Empire, you can check out the video from Star Wars Day that we did earlier this year, where we reviewed Prince Xizor, and we also looked in depth to the Shadows of the Empire multimedia project. But enough about that. We're concentrating on this figure here, which is the second in this wave. We have had a twin figure released recently, which features a re-release of Princess Leia in her Bouche bounty hunter outfit and Luke Skywalker in a kind of like red Imperial armor, like undercover kind of like character that he obviously wears that armor to infiltrate Coruscant in that story. So you've got like a new kind of like variant of Luke in that twin pack. I'm not getting that because I've got the Bouche figure anyway. And I'm not particularly interested in that version of Luke Skywalker. But anyway, this is the kind of like the Han Solo replacement. Because obviously Shadows of the Empire was set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And so obviously they created a brand new character to join these established characters in the story. And he was kind of like basically a Han Solo clone. He was another kind of like Corellian smuggler who had his own kind of like Corellian freighter ship, which was called the Outrider, and looked a little bit similar to the Millennium Falcon, but besides the cockpit, it was a little bit like different, a bit smaller in scope. And instead of a Wookiee as his co-pilot, he had a droid. So yeah, he was kind of like basically a Han Solo clone. Very, very similar, and obviously just there, I think, to fill the gap because they couldn't use Han Solo as a character in this story. So on the side, you've got a very nice image of the character as he kind of like appeared in all the different versions of Shadows of the Empire. You've got that artwork on the back as well. And it says there that he's a pilot and mercenary. Dash Rendar flew a snowspeeder during the Battle of Hoth, and Princess Leia later hired him to protect Luke Skywalker from the dark Prince Xizor's ruthless bounty hunters. So there you go, standard Black Series packaging. Obviously not much on the top or on the sides. So without further ado, let's open the box up and have a closer look at the figure. So here's the figure out of the packaging, and just as a quick aside, I noticed obviously when I was getting this book off the shelf, for such a pivotal character in the storyline, he doesn't appear on the cover. He doesn't even get a glimpse on the back at all. It's mainly Princess Leia, Boba Fett, and a random bounty hunter on a speeder bike that you can see there. So it's a bit of a shame. Obviously, this character was seen in like a smaller scale action figure back in the 90s, and also in the comic book, and also in the video game. But besides that, his look was not really established. It wasn't. They didn't cast an actor like they did for the recent Jedi range of PS and Xbox games, where obviously they have an actual actor portraying the role and use his likeness. So upon reflection and getting this guy out of the packaging, obviously because it's human-like likenesses, they're not using a comic book, so they're adapting that style of making it as realistic as possible. He kind of like looks like a cross between the actor Aaron Eckhart and the actor Josh Holloway, who was famous as Sawyer in the Lost TV series. So it's almost like they've kind of like amalgamated those two actors' looks to come up with the kind of plastic form of Dash in 6-inch form for the Black Series. He comes with one accessory, which is a little bit disappointing, but I suppose, you know, what else can he come with? Which is a Carillion blaster, very similar to Han Solo. Like I say, he's basically a Han Solo clone. It's cast in a nice kind of like gunmetal, silvery kind of like plastic. No other paint job on there, but it does give it a kind of like a sheen, and far better than the replacement blaster that we got in the recent Han Solo redo that I reviewed a couple of weeks back with Chewbacca, which was just in plain black plastic. So, you know, at least Hasbro did something with that, you know. But yeah, just the one accessory, a little bit disappointing. But as for the figure itself, it's a standard Black Series figure. There's a little bit of shininess to his face, which I may dull down with a bit of matte spray. But his costume is basically kind of like screen accurate as it appears in the video game, and as it appeared in the comic book as well. Yeah, there's not really much to say. He's kind of like got very similar kind of like Han Solo style boots. But he's got this kind of like quilted piping on part of his costume, which goes all the way down there. And as far as I can tell, I don't see any reuse of other figures in this kind of like action figure. Even the holster looks completely brand new. It's not an adaptation of Han Solo's belt and holster. It is a brand new sculpt. It's got this kind of like armor, kind of like top half, obviously this with the breastplate and the shoulders, and then he's got some padding over those. That restricts the movement of the arms a great deal. So if you're looking for butterfly joints on this, absolutely not. In fact, you can't even move these arms out at all. You can't even. You're going to have to basically do that if you want a pose. That is a huge restriction. I'm surprised Hasbro didn't come up with a softer material on there, so you could have moved those, because that really does restrict them. I presume that's attached to those quilted pieces at the top there. So a bit disappointing. Besides that, he's got the standard kind of like knee articulation. There's no hip swivel. There's a bit of, there you go, you can move his upper torso, so there's movement there, not at the waist. And yeah, there's a bit of movement in the boots. You've got boot swivel after the knees, and that's about it basically. So really, he from an action point of view, he's not really going to do much, which is a little bit disappointing. You can't have him in any kind of like really good action poses. What we can do though is we can put the blaster in his hand. So let's just put that trigger finger through the that bit there, through the trigger, and I mean, he can't even really point his arm up much. So yeah, he's kind of like just gonna end up standing there. That's a little bit disappointing, actually, to be quite honest. I'm quite surprised at Hasbro limiting the articulation in such a way to the point where those arms do not move at all. So yeah, kind of like basically in action figure. I mean, you can move the legs around a little bit more, and having like kind of like posed a little bit, kind of like, you know, bit of a pose there. But beyond that, yeah, he's not doing much, is he? So yeah, whether we get any more figures from the Shadows of the Empire project, I don't know, because effectively, I mean, what else is there to have? They could redo a Boba Fett, because Boba Fett is a main character. They could obviously package a Darth Vader and stick him in. They could do a Luke as he appears in that costume with a tan cream waistcoat. So that could be an option. IG-88 is a character that appears in Shadows of the Empire. He's a main. He's the worst kind of like baddie in the game, as I remember. He was an absolute arse to get past. That was the really hardest level. I seem to recall. I played on that game for hours back in the day. Obviously, there's Chewbacca. Chewbacca with his crew cut hairstyle and his eye patch. You could do a Chewbacca kind of like bounty, and he's bounty hunter this guy's figure. But beyond that, I'm kind of like stuck for what other characters you could put in this range. So I think basically we're probably going to be stuck with just these two figures. I doubt Hasbro have got any others planned anytime soon. You know, they might surprise us, but I think other kind of like waves and ranges are going to be the priority. Certainly redoing a lot of the New Hope characters, which we've seen already with Luke, Leia, Han and Chewie. And I think we'll get some new versions of Ben Kenobi and R2 and 3PO. Certainly as we get nearer to the big anniversary of Star Wars in 2027. Obviously, we've got the Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out next year, so that's going to be a huge push for merchandise, and there'll probably be tons of Black Series figures from that movie. Whether it's any good or not, we wait and see. But there you go, that's Dash Rendar. Yeah, he looks good, he looks cool, but it's... Yeah, I've not been disappointed by a Black Series figure for quite some time, just purely from the ability of putting him in some kind of like cool poses. Very, very limited with the articulation. So perhaps it might be worth waiting for this guy to come down a little in price, because he's the standard $24.99 or pounds, depending on where you are in the world. So might wait for those January sales to see if he comes down in price, because he was obviously released a couple of months back. But there you go, there's Dash Rendar from the Shadows of the Empire multimedia project, and he can go quite nicely with the villain Prince Shizor, or Shizor, however you bloody pronounce it. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you did like this video, then please leave us a like. It really does help out the channel. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified whenever we upload any brand new videos. And also, if you've not yet hit that subscription button, then please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you to all the recent subscribers. Really do appreciate you joining our community. And it's great to have you on board. So please keep watching the videos, keep sharing them, keep liking them. I really, really do appreciate it. We have another video coming at some point this week, which is the recently released Doctor Who Vortex Edition set, which is the two Wraith Warriors, which was announced as of the recording of this video yesterday, and I ordered that very, very quickly. So that should be here by the end of the week, and I'll get a video out as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you very, very soon on Bearded Geek Toy Reviews. Bye now.
Prepare yourself for Star Wars, Shadows of the Empire. The cruel crime lord Shizor directs the carbonite capture of Han Solo and his imprisonment aboard bounty hunter Boba Fett's battle-ready Slave One. Now, Luke Skywalker goes undercover with Soldier of Fortune Dash Rendar as he rips through space in his battle-transforming Outrider. But can they stop Slave One in time? It's the ultimate ships for the ultimate battle. Dare to enter the shadows. Star Wars, Shadows of the Empire. Figures and vehicles each sold separately from Kenner.